Hi. So, we're Human Pincushion Productions, and this is going to be a talkback about the radio play we released last week, The Shadow People. So, does everyone want to go around and, introduce themselves and what role they were?
Yeah, let's get, introduction to what role they were, and do we want to do pronouns?
Oh, yeah, we could.
Yeah, cool. Let's start with Vicky.
Sense.
Let's work our way back around.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Vicky. I was the announcer and the woman, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I forgot the name of my character.
Dr. Hazalius?
Dr. Hazalius. And I'm she, her, and what was those?
That's it.
That was great.
You're like, I want to add more.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
So my name is Riley, and I played Elaine, and my pronouns are also she, her.
My name is Timothy Yo. I play David and Mr. Davis, and my pronouns are they, she.
Hey, I'm Killian. I played Brian and the Shadow, and my pronouns are he, him.
Alright.
Cool, so this process was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because context, this is a radio play from the 50s, so
Yeah.
there were a lot of stuff that had to be moved around because of that.
So as a horror company, we were like, this would be a really cool thing to do.
It's a ghost in the room with us, guys.
Just
Sorry.
some random person outside having a great moment.
Yeah, so we thought radio plays would be a really cool thing for us to explore. But most radio plays were written back in anywhere from the 30s to the 60s, and the writing is so outdated. We thought this one would sound the most natural, and then the first time we read it out loud, could not stop laughing at how ridiculous it was.
Yeah. Riley went through and did some edits, but even after the edits, there were some moments where we had to take a break because we were laughing. It was in the original version. If you guys want to go and find the original version of the Shadow People, I think it's from Halls of Mystery.
Halls of Fantasy.
Halls of Fantasy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
The fireplace at the end was originally just a candle, just a single candle. And that was it. They're just like, we're gonna hold off the Shadow People. My master plan is a candle.
It's like this couple gets rid of their house, moves into, this doctor's house, and they've been there for 3 weeks?
It's
at the point
10 days.
At the point that they figure out that a candle is the solution to this problem that they've been facing.
And the phrasing when Dr. Hazalius tells Brian and Elaine to get rid of their house, she says to dispose of it, and then David's like, oh, they disposed of the house a few days later. Can't you just say sold?
Yeah.
They just pick up the house and throw it into a waste bin.
Or
Yeah, they just picked
the
it up,
house.
threw it in the trash.
They literally
abandoned
disposed of it.
It's-
Literally.
Little known fact, houses in America in the 1930s and 40s were made out of paper. So you could just ball them up and toss them out.
Yeah, that sounds like an accurate fact.
Yep, that's a real fact with Killian Locke.
Yeah.
Was it Herbert Hoover or was that later?
Herbert Hoover was the 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This
Great
is a-
tradition.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Shadow People?
As in the play or as in a concept?
A concept.
I love the concept of Shadow People. It's pretty popular online in like a spooky boogeyman type thing. And they're Shadow People, and it's pretty cool.
I don't know why. What is it? The Princess and the Frog. I don't know why it kind of reminded me of that. But the main villain, his sort of henchman and his second person are the shadows. But what's really interesting is they never really say it out loud because it's a kids' film. But the Shadow People are basically these demons from hell. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe they're these demons of hell in the radio play.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just bankers. And then,
So
on the
demons
side, they haunt people.
It is a shady business.
I mean,
I got friends on the other side. They're money launderers. But yeah, because I'm more familiar with the concept of shadow people, like, in real life, like, the figures that, like, no one really knows what they are, and they're not spirits, necessarily, because they do have more of a malevolent energy than, like, your regular, like, apparitions do.
Yeah.
But, these in the play were very different because it was, more of just, like, this is how I described it when I first found the play, is, like, if you've seen the library episode of Doctor Who with, like, the Bastionerata, and it's just, like, these creatures that live in the darkness that you can't see, but are, like, literally always there and can get you at any moment, was much, much spookier than the real-life shadow people.
I guess that's the thing that kind of got me about the whole concept is, like, where do they actually come from? Like, it didn't seem to address any of that.
Like, they're just always there.
It's like, oh, yeah, no, they're out there.
And why do they want Elaine? Like, what's so special about her?
Yeah, there was not much backstory.
Yeah, this is Elaine, and the shadow people want to get her. Why?
Yeah.
You'll find out.
They were like,
Yeah.
don't
Oh.
stop us. This
We're gonna
is
save her
important.
with a candle. Yeah.
And then they didn't. They didn't save her with a candle.
Yeah, because fire goes
Yeah.
out in the wind.
Oh, really?
Surprise.
Uh,
Elements and all that.
yeah, I love during the first reading when we just kept being like, the candle!
See, now I'm starting to think, were the shadow people involved in the assassination of Princess Diana?
Yes. Yes,
In
they
all
were.
assassinations.
It's a conspiracy.
You heard it here, folks. The shadow people were involved in the assassination of Princess Diana. Abraham Lincoln, JFK.
They're
people.
responsible for, like, like sympathy for the devil, sympathy for the shadow people.
Yeah.
They're responsible for everything that's ever happened.
Yeah. Except for the assassination of President Garfield. He just had it coming. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Seriously though, does anybody have any real stories about shadow people in their life?
I mean,
Not personally.
My grandma was killed brutally by a shadow demon.
Ooh.
That's rough, buddy.
R.I.P.
Well,
Yeah, shortly after my girlfriend turned into the moon.
Yeah.
like, low-key, like, I don't know if anyone has, like, ghost stories or, like, weird shit that's happened to them, but when I was little, whether or not I was dreaming or I was just tripping out or I was, like, halfway asleep or whatever,
Did you see the Hat Man?
I had the thing where, like, it looked like, you know when, like, someone's standing in front of the light and there's just that, like,
Yeah.
like,
silhouette.
you can't see through it, but it's definitely, like,
Mhm.
it's solid.
Yeah.
It's, like, it just filled my doorway up and just kind of sunk down towards the foot of my bed. And I literally just, like, just, like, vaulted, like, over my bed into the hallway, down the stairs, went downstairs, was super upset. And my mom was like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. Like, and because that's what parents do. They're, they're supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom. And, like...
Mom, I saw a monster. It sunk under my bed. Yeah, whatever. Smash cut to later. You're being
Just
eaten.
dragged
just
under.
staring at the ceiling, like...
Yeah. Hand comes up and grabs you and drags you under the bed.
Yeah, it was like, whatever that experience was, like, if that was a shadow person, like, very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any personal experiences, but there is, like, the most well-known real-life shadow person is probably the Hat Man. He's, for anyone who's unfamiliar, he's this very tall, shadow figure, and he's always wearing a hat. Sometimes I think people see him with a briefcase, and sometimes people even see him with, like, these red eyes. But he tends to appear during times of, like, large times of negative energy. So, like, people will see them, like, if their parents are going through a divorce, or, like, if they have, like, a really toxic home environment, the Hat Man will appear to them, and he just kind of stands there. I think he just feeds off of, like, the negative energy.
Oh, shit.
That's
Yeah.
intense.
And he's...
I thought that was...
Is this just a
Freaky.
phenomenon, or is this like...
Yeah, no, it's just a thing. Like, people see him, like, all the time, and it's a generational thing. So, like, if your grandmother or your mother saw the Hat Man when they were younger, then you're likely to see him at some point in your life as
Goddamn.
well.
I might have seen the Hat Man.
You mentioned that the Hat Man shows up in times like when people are going through divorces
Mhm.
or emotional stress. Do you think Heather saw the Hat Man growing up?
I like how you just dropped her name.
Yeah.
Just called her out.
This is a girl that we work with.
She's awesome.
She's
yeah.
amazing, but she does constantly make jokes about
Her parents being divorced.
Yikes.
I'm texting her right now, being like, "Did you ever see the Hat Man?"
Did you ever see Shadow People as a kid?
Yeah.
It's a
Did
great
he have a top
icebreaker.
hat on? I've never seen him, so in my head I just picture the Babadook,
Yeah.
but
Fuck
just
you.
all black.
The Babadook is so scary.
He's really
Oh, I
scary.
love him.
He's great, but he's
He's
very
the Hat
scary.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of.
Just like a 6 or 7 foot tall shape looming in your closet with a hat on.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's
Hell no.
that's a big tall drink of fuck
Yeah.
that.
That's insane though.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
People-
I have to, man, that's gonna be a Google rabbit hole I fall down later.
Yeah, people have tons of, and it's the exact same thing. He just like appears like in their bedroom or like in a doorway. He's always got like
And it
the
was
same.
huge.
Yeah, he's usually around 6 or 7 feet tall.
Wow.
Well, that's
People-
fucked up. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Learn something about myself every day.
So
Yeah.
everyone else here really likes fictional horror. I like real horror.
I just love the idea that there's this. Yeah,
It's
it's
like a
just so
traveling
awful.
salesman
The
of
traveling
pain.
salesman. Hey, would you like to lose sleep for a couple of nights? Here, let's
Would
open
you
up a
like
briefcase
family
of
trauma at
mayonnaise.
the low cost of never sleeping again in your life?
What are the I was gonna say oranges.
What are the Oreos of the
The
shadow
oranges.
people?
What is Oreos?
Yeah.
What are
Oranges?
the oranges?
I don't know. I don't know how long this has been a thing. All right, Red Bull is happening. Okay.
Sponsor us, Red Bull.
Okay, very off topic. Does anyone else hate the Red Bull commercials? Where they're like, Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh, I love them.
Do you not
I
imagine
really do.
like
I
a
just hate
weird,
the way he says it.
like a nightmare, like wings just like popping out of people, and they're just like, "Oh my god, what's
Yeah.
happening to me?"
And they become
That'd be a
shadow
great
people.
twist.
That should be our next film.
Didn't Red Bull
Yeah.
actually go through a lawsuit because it doesn't actually give you wings? Oh no, it was because of the like rat piss or whatever was in it.
Oh, it's taurine. It's taurine.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, that's bull semen." It's not.
It's just
Yeah.
an amino acid, guys. Grow up.
Cats need it to survive because they do not
They
produce
do.
it
They will go
naturally.
blind. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I growing up, I had several like creepy like experiences at my grandparents' house. So, fun fact about me, I lived at my grandparents' with my mother and my sister for like until I was like 8, and in my bedroom closet, it was like, and this is why the fact that my closet door is broken is like a huge. Not an insurmount or not a small problem for me, because I sleep with my closet door closed. Because it started when I was there. I would sometimes sleep with my closet door sort of open, and in there I would see shapes and like faces peering out of the darkness at me. And there was one time I was home alone, and I was walking past my grandparents' room, and I 1000% saw a figure just in my grandparents' room.
Yeah.
And I like turned, and then it was like gone, and I was like, I'm gonna go to a friend's house.
Terrible.
I was like, I'm gonna be outside for the rest for the rest of the time until someone comes home. I need an adult.
There was
Yeah, that's gonna save you.
do you ever have those weird things where it's like you hear a story and then later it comes back and you're like, oh shit, I realize what that is? It's like when my dad was little, he told me, or when I was little, my dad told me about shit he went through. And apparently he would have these crazy like night terrors about owls being outside of his bedroom, and just like they would just be everywhere watching him. And then that fucking movie came out like in like 2009 or something like that.
The Fourth Kind?
About literally that, and I was just like,
Yikes.
what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this?
Have you guys ever heard of The Owl Man?
No.
There's a movie on Amazon Prime called The Lord of Tears, and it is, first off, a dope-ass name. And it is based on, I think it's a Welsh urban legend called the Owl Man, and he's like not dissimilar in look to like Slender Man. He's like a tall, thin figure in a suit, but it's got like an owl head and like claws. And he takes children, and yeah, when you were talking about like your dad just seeing owl, like
Yeah, just
that,
big
just, like,
owls.
no,
It's weird.
yeah, the owls, they're taking people.
Wild.
Yeah.
Your father
Did-
got away.
Yeah.
Did either of you
Lucky.
guys have shadow people problems when you were kids?
I
Or
mean, the
adults?
regular shadow people. Sometimes somebody stands at the end of my bed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, the only supernatural thing that ever happened to me was when you and I played with a Ouija board, but that's like a whole nother story right
Y'all.
Keep that shit out of my house.
there.
Okay, so have I told you about the worst nightmare I've ever had in my life?
No.
Okay, I know I've told you about it.
Yeah.
So there's this nightmare that I had. I'll tell you the nightmare, and then I'll tell you why I thought about it just now. So in the nightmare, I'm standing in like a Barnes and Noble.
Spooky as hell.
Yeah, because they're graveyards.
Oh my god. Oh my
I love
god, oh my
Barnes
god, oh
and
my god.
Noble.
Yeah.
Were there hipsters in there? Oh my god.
So I'm standing in a Barnes and Noble. Only you, Jasmine. You're the only one there. And I'm holding my phone, or like my phone's in my pocket, and I get a buzzing feeling, and I'm like, oh, somebody's called me or texted me. So take my phone out, and like my phone's just buzzing, but nothing is like on the screen. So I'm like, okay, and I go to like restart my phone. So I hold down the power button, and then it starts buzzing super hard, and the screen goes like bright white, and this super loud like sound like plays through my ears to the point where it hurts physically, and I like drop the phone and like clap my hands over my ears, and these like two people come up, and this woman grabs the phone, and she's like, oh, here, like she's just handing me my phone, but as she flips it over, she sees something in the screen. To me, it's just like a bright white, but to her, she sees something, and she starts like screaming, like, where are they? Like, she's like really upset because apparently there's something on the phone screen, and it's like really disturbing to her. And then this other woman comes up to see what the commotion is, and she sees that, and she just starts screaming in horror. And I'm trying to like make sounds, but all that's coming out is this like sound, like I can't like make sound come out, and it hurts because the ear splitting thing. And then suddenly just like cut, and there was this bus, like a charter bus, and it was dark on the inside, and it's at night, and it's passing under streetlights. And in the streetlights, you see there's three people in the bus, and they're all dressed in like 1920s clothing, and all of them are dead. But each time it passes under the light, they're dead in different ways. Like they're all sitting there, but it's like in one point, like they've got like their throats cut, and another point, some of them have gunshot wounds in their head. But they're all just like sitting completely upright. They're not like slumped over. They're just like they're dead, but they're not. And the bus is just driving down the street, and there was this, like, building knowledge that they were coming for me. And then I just sat bolt right up in bed in a cold sweat, like, in a complete panic attack. And I couldn't sleep for, like, the rest of the night, because every time I closed my eyes, I would just see the inside of that bus. Now, the reason I bring that up is because I had that nightmare the night after we did the Ouija board thing.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I guess I should probably share, like, what happened then. Also, do not play with a Ouija board. They're actually,
They're dark.
yeah.
Sweet, I have one right here.
do a
We have one
seance.
here.
Never ask how the ghost died. Always say goodbye.
Tim's like,
Tim's like, I'm
Very
out.
strict rules that you need to follow.
Well, what happened was we got a Ouija board on Halloween. Also, very, very dumb idea. Fully admit this. A couple of years ago. And because we wanted to see something spooky happen, we went to like places, we're from New York. We went to places in New York that are considered haunted. So we went to Chelsea Hotel, set it up outside, did the opening, nothing happened. We went to the Dakota, did the same thing, nothing happened. And then we went to, at Central Park, there's this square for, circle for John Lennon, and it's
Real quick,
believed.
how old were you guys?
23, 25, I think, maybe?
20 what?
How old were
Because
you?
this, I think, was like 3 or 4
3
years ago.
3 or 4 years ago. So I was like 24, 25.
Yeah, we went to Central Park on that circle, and we set it down, and basically you have to, I can't remember the exact steps for it, but you have to, like, ask a ghost to, like, come in, and we did that first step, and then it started moving a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy, and then it just kept moving, and then I think I was the one who asked the board, like, do you want us to leave, because nothing else will happening, and it immediately started moving to yes, and I was like, alright, we are done.
Later.
We are getting the fuck out of
But
here.
you guys
it started
asked
to,
for it.
Well, no, it
Yeah.
started to.
So
well,
why didn't you just stay and be like, okay, so we got this going, let's see what's going
well,
on?
so we were going, and it started to feel really like ugh suddenly, and then
Yeah.
like we just Vicky was like, "Do you want us to leave?" And then it just, for the first time in like 2 minutes, it just started to move, and it was very clearly over to yes. And we were like, "All right, cool, see ya, bye,
Yeah,
goodbye." And then
deuces.
we're just like, "We're out. Have a nice life."
Yeah. Well, afterlife, I guess.
Yeah, and then we left, and then the night after, I had the worst nightmare in my
That's crazy.
entire life.
Wow.
And there was weird. It was weird because when I sat up and I was like hyperventilating, there was this like thing in the back of my head that like was like, they're doing this like this is happening because of the Ouija board.
Yeah.
They just like said that, and so like for months I was like low key paranoid that something awful was going
And
to
here I
happen.
was fine after, like, la-di-da-di.
Something wicked this way comes.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
I feel like I'm the only person that's like never that like the amount of times I've tried to use a Ouija board and literally nothing has happened.
Hmm.
Could like for years
Because maybe you don't really want it to happen.
I mean probably not.
Also, fun fact: Heather responded. Heather has never seen a shadow person.
Nice. Okay. Well, good for her.
Yeah,
God, her family's
Never
not
seen
a
the Hat
toxic
Man.
environment.
Heather's never seen the Hat Man.
Well,
Good.
Tim, on the other hand,
This is a
Batman.
random one. I don't think this is supernatural. It was just, like, a crazy nightmare that happened to me years ago. I was in the car with my mom, and I think we were driving to, like, Disney or something, and I was asleep in the passenger, and I can't remember the dream. I just remember I had a jump scare in my dream where I think it might have been, like, I was seeing, like, an empty road or something, and all of a sudden this weird demon thing just popped up and screamed. And my mom is driving. I was asleep, and the jump scare happened, and I just immediately woke up screaming. Scared the shit out of her, too.
yeah.
So you had a nightmare of that like relaxing Sunday drive commercial.
And
that,
then,
you know what I'm talking about? Or it's just driving, and then this like creepy zombie just pops
yeah.
up. But moral of the story: don't try to adapt 1950s radio plays because they
Yeah.
are outdated. And I mean, it's great if
I
you want to do
wanna-
comedy.
I wanted to add something,
Yeah.
too, to that. What was interesting when we were reading... Oh, and by the way, the doctor character originally was a man. But,
And German.
You know, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
and
a
German,
German
too.
man.
But what's interesting to me is, you know, now that we're talking about it, I've been thinking everything... Like, what's her name? Elaine?
Yes.
Or, Elaine's, you know, the main character, everything happens to her, but she never really does anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all the
she
male
just sits
characters
around and is like,
oh, I get, because it
there's
was
something there.
it was the 50s, and, like, you know,
That's just all women did back then.
yeah,
Just sit around and read and make sure.
I don't like any of the men in them either.
Yeah.
yeah,
She was a very passive character. She was
yeah,
like, and there is
Pretty
something to be said
useless.
about the idea of like, if you are dealing with an unknown spiritual entity that you have no idea what it is or how to fight, what can you do? But that only goes so far when every other character in the script is like,
Trying
I
to
have
do
a
something.
plan.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, she's a very passive character.
yeah.
Not great on the writer's standpoint.
She's the
Well,
reason
her brother-
everyone is dead.
Well, her brother and her fiance, I think they can take care of it.
Spoiler
Well,
alert, they couldn't.
Her fiance, Brian, was kind of just like, I'm scared the whole time.
But it's really interesting because they did very much try to, at least David got very like machismo about it and was like,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
protect you, I'm gonna fist fight the fuck out of these demons.
Yeah,
These
Like-
demons that we cannot see and are non-corporeal.
Like Rock
I'm
Hudson.
gonna kick their ass.
Like Rock Hudson just
Yeah.
being
I came here
like,
to
don't
kick
worry,
ass and
babe.
chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I
That's
don't know if you're
1953,
ready,
folks.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna come and I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Thanks, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, I did my best.
All right, thank you for coming to our talk back. This has been our TED Talk.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this hopefully every month. If you guys want to submit to us, check out our YouTube, or also I think soon on our website.
Okay, so you don't just have to submit to us.
Well, no,
if you
because our
have
links are going to be on
modern-
YouTube.
Submit to our power.
Okay, but yeah, you just said if you want to submit to us.
Check out our YouTube.
Okay, but
first.
if you have, we don't just want to do really outdated plays from the 1950s. So if you are a playwright, or if you have a grand idea for a modern radio play that we can perform, you can send it to Human Pincushion Submissions.
I think it's HPP Submissions.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description of this recording.
Yes.
So that you can submit us your ideas if you have any and would like to hear them read out loud on the podcast.
Huzzah! All right. Thank you guys for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.